guys, welcome to episode 48 of the Second Nature podcast. I know it's been a while since I've done an intro in it, like you miss my voice, you miss my intro, I'm right here. Today we have, I was gonna say special guest, but
oh my days.
okay.
I wouldn't have that if I were you. I wouldn't have that.
We have a special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, special guest?
I'm Philip. I also go by the name of Archie, if you see me like on Twitter or like on my productions. And I'm Anna's little brother, and that's why she doesn't want to give me any credit, but that's okay. And I'm joining the podcast for the day.
Yeah, we're currently in the same house, different rooms.
She wishes.
No, we're actually in two different cities.
I was gonna say.
Alright, so we have like loads to talk about. We have quite a few topics to talk about. But I wanted to kind of like start off with what's been happening this week, yeah? So in general, like how's you guys' week been in general?
It's Tuesday.
I mean, like the last 7 days, not this.
Oh my days.
Don't be difficult, alright? You know what I'm talking about.
No, honestly, it's because I'm counting down the days to Friday. I feel like that's what happens when you start working. But in the past 7 days, I was looking forward to Friday, last Friday, because my friends and I were going to London to celebrate one of our friends' birthday.
Okay.
It was really nice. There is a hotel in Ilford that you should not stay at. Don't do it. As in, it was one of the worst debacle of my life, including
Did you leave
someone.
a review?
I didn't book it, but the girl that a friend that booked it will definitely leave one.
Okay, cool,
It involved people barking at us.
Oh,
It involves screaming in genuine fear. It involves keys that open rooms that they should not open.
what?
It involves doors being left ajar when you are sure that you closed them. It was not safe. And to just kind of end the weekend, because of a tree, not trees, a tree
On the train line, right?
on the train line.
Yeah.
All the trains to Manchester weren't running.
Yeah.
And I had to travel to Kent, which is where I'm from. And I met some good Samaritans the day before who drove us to Manchester because they were going as well. And it was a lovely 4-hour journey. And I landed in my bed at 11 p.m. and I was back at work a few hours later. So far, I've just been sleeping a lot. But overall, it was an amazing weekend. But still, do not stay at the hotel. And despite what they call themselves, they are not the best. They are.
She's not gonna like tell us.
The worst.
You might have to drop some names.
I did say, they say they are the best. They are the worst. So the name is the best.
The best.
You can, yeah. I don't want us to get sued, but you can figure out the rest by yourself.
Hotel.
Yeah. That was my week.
Yeah, with regards to the train thing, I got caught up with some train things as well. I got back to Nottingham at because my 8 p.m. train got cancelled. I ended up getting back here at 20 past midnight on a Sunday. Well, would have been Monday morning, and there was no buses running, and I was stranded. So I had to call Philip and be like, "Can you get me a cab, please?"
Ridiculous. That's really ridiculous.
Guys,
I should do that more often, you know.
It was so cold, and it was raining, and it was freezing, and I didn't have a hoodie. It was just my jacket and a t-shirt underneath. I don't know who I thought I was, but it was just so miserable.
In October, you are wrapped up.
I don't know what I was doing.
Jackie.
And like there were so many people at the train station because obviously it was Halloween night. Didn't think it was. Yeah,
you know, I think
I'd like to sleep.
I should do that more often. I just charge my Ubers and my stuff to my brother because yes, he's in London, I'm in Manchester, but he needs to perform his sisterly duties. You know what? Maybe we should do an episode on Halloween, because I've never celebrated it, not because of anything, but because I don't get it. Like, why would I go to people's houses to beg for food?
Why do you have to put it like that?
Is that not what they're doing? Under the guise of trick or treat. What does that mean? What does that mean? But
so
the
funny.
things I saw in London town in the middle of the day at 11 a.m. in the morning, I said, Lord, take control. Jesus Christ, come back quickly. Because it was unruly behavior. No.
Yeah, that's London, isn't it? Gotta love it. You just gotta love it. That's London.
What?
That's actually London.
Did you do anything interesting your week?
Last week. I had some sessions with some guys from Ghana, innit? They flew in. So that was dope. And like they're bare weird, like they just enjoy like the weirdest things, like taking the bus, going to Tesco. I went to the corner shop, it's like, oh, there's so many drinks, I was like, bro, like, I was like, rah, I've been shopping Ghana, like there's drinks there. Like he's like, no, look at the selection. I was like, rah. Like, yeah, it was dope store. Yeah, just producing, just the usual stuff, innit?
Yeah.
Do you want to drop the name of any latest music that you've made so that the people listening can also join up? Mm-hmm. Or any good things that you've done? Doesn't have to be the latest one if they've been. Yeah.
I did Our God with Dave Creates, K-List, Rihanna. That was dope. That's all right. Get us to 100K.
Dave Creates. So when you listen to this episode, the opening song, that's Dave Creates.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, our podcast Patreon.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to you, Dave. You dope.
Yeah, honestly. You see his thing on Twitter the other day? Oh
yeah.
That's my goal.
So what does GOAT mean? For
goat.
Our less urban...
Less urban. Wow. GOAT's greatest of all time.
Okay.
Yeah, man. He's one of my GOATs.
Yeah, that's so funny. Obviously this week on Twitter, there was that whole meta/metaverse/delete Facebook thing going on. And obviously Jeff Bezos wants to make a whole new Earth online. What do you guys
Jeff Bezos? Or
I mean, sorry, they're all the same person to me, really. Zuckerberg, the robot.
Please don't.
He wants everyone to join him in the internet sphere. Yeah. What do you guys think of that? Like a new virtual world universe?
Why? You know, I know why. I know why it's a lucrative thing, right? Because we've gone from like, you know, having dial-up internet to having phones in our hands, and we spend more and more time on our phones. We have, you know, more, you know, even if you think about it, like how many people still carry cash? Like your cash is virtual. Now people are purchasing virtual art. You can pretty much do you can join meetings from home. You can work from home. You technically don't actually need to leave your house. You can get food delivered to your house if you want to with Amazon or your local grocery store. Like you don't actually have to leave your house unless you intentionally want to. And because it's becoming more widespread, it's a lucrative thing to kind of introduce more ways for people to be virtual. But in terms of like, is this what humanity needs? I don't think so. I don't. Can
I just piggyback off of that though?
Obviously.
I feel like I was at a thing today actually. I was at social media week, so like the retreat and stuff. I was there today. And they're just talking about how like all the other social medias have really picked up and Facebook is kind of doing the opposite. So I feel like it's kind of his time to kind of like say like, oh, let me kind of like come back and retake what was once mine and let me bring like a new ideas and stuff like that. Because Facebook hasn't really changed over the past like 10 years. The biggest change they've done is when they brought games and when they brought like the marketplace, etc. And that's what led to their demise in the first place, actually. So I think it's trying to bring something new, because even TikTok, the amount of people that have been on TikTok this year, I think TikTok has the most people on their social media in 2021. So I think it's just trying to bring something new. Even though the idea doesn't make that much sense, it's fresh. And that's all people want these days, just stuff that's new.
Do you think, well, one of the main arguments on Twitter was that he's using Meta to kind of run away from all the crimes that he's committed under Facebook. So he's kind of like rebranding and running away.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. It's complicated though. Like he's got there's lots of sides to the coin, and like he's got all of this crypto stuff involved, the blockchain stuff. Like it's so digital and it's so like novel, and all that stuff always takes off initially. Anyways, it always takes off. It might not last, but it always takes off.
Yeah. Do we want to say the alleged crimes that Mark Zuckerberg has to answer for? I'm only aware of like, it's the truth, because not everyone knows it, and I'm only aware of Instagram and the algorithm, and like I believe the case against him like in the US about how, you know, algorithms are essentially damaging people's lives, and how Facebook is aware of that, but Facebook doesn't want to change the way the algorithm works because we'll use social media less. Well, the social media that Facebook owns, that Metaverse owns. So that's all I'm aware of at the moment. And obviously the whole Cambridge
there was also
thing.
like Facebook.
Yeah, she's about to say it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't actually. Were they selling our data? I mean, everyone's selling our data.
Yeah, like so. Yeah, the data leak, and also the potential like the what's the word? It's not. Anyways, the part. Oh my God! Wow, English. The potential part they played in rigging the U.S. elections, with Trump. And with the links to all Russia and all of that stuff, and there was a whole like massive thing.
I think all social media platforms, aside from Instagram, which really isn't used for propaganda that much, well, the Instagram that I see anyway isn't used for propaganda. I think Facebook, WhatsApp, chain mail messages, Twitter, they have a lot to answer for, because misinformation is rife on those platforms. Like on Instagram, you know, people that are a bit shallow, a bit bogus, but on the other media, like and it's not really made for conversations, I don't think, aside from like DMs. Like Facebook,
like widespread sharing and people seeing it all at once kind of thing.
It's not really the platform. But I mean the other changes I've seen on Facebook so far is that is the fact that nothing is in chronological order anymore. Like it's just like random content from like content farms, like people doing hack videos for things.
Weird videos. It's the weird videos, isn't it? Like you just see a video of like animals getting killed, and you're like, why do I don't want to see this? Why
animals getting rescued? But it's kind of like, why is the production so sharp? Like if you just randomly came across a tortoise that needed help, why am I seeing like, you know, why am I seeing cameras and lights? And I'm like, did you put this animal in distress just so you can capture this? I don't know. But
the Facebook thing is crazy though, because if you know now, obviously I did a psychology degree in it, so learned a lot about data and like big data, and obviously Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram is all together. So obviously when they do this stuff, I don't know if you like know about Facebook Pixel, but essentially there's a marketing tool used by Facebook that you can target ads to people. So now they have all this data on you, like they literally know what you like, what you watch, everything. They can literally target it to like a certain type of people and people that are like you. I told you like, I was at social media week today, and they're even saying 98% of Facebook's money is made from advertisements. And that's 98, like literally only 2% from other things. So obviously that's why literally all the ads we see on Instagram, some of the ads we even see on Google are all from Facebook. So
I can definitely attest to that. I can attest to that. I think I've said this before, but there was a time when like my friends and I, we were obsessed with looking at rings. Engagement rings precisely, and just to gauge how fat the pocket needs to be to afford what it is that we like. And it was just from conversations that we would have. And then I noticed every time I would go on Instagram, the explore page was just filled with rings. Anytime I would go on YouTube, all my ads will be Fenton and the different type of rings you can purchase. And it was just constant. And I was like, I don't think I Googled this at all. It was just conversations we were having. And I was like, Siri, are you listening? My Siri will not wake up in Jesus' name. But they're all interlinked. It's not, you know, because I'm like, okay, if Facebook sees it and Instagram sees it, why is YouTube targeting me with these ads, you know? Yeah.
But yeah, man, just the world we live in. We're selling ourselves and our data and everything.
Not me though.
I'm not selling myself. I'm not selling myself.
Me. No way.
Not me.
Well, yeah. Obviously, another thing that's been popping off on Twitter, the Twitterverse, is the COP 20. Anytime I can say COP, it just
Fam, you know, mum, yeah, I was watching the news together. She's like, oh, who's this that they've stolen our name? Who's this? Who's this that they've stolen? I was like, bro.
I don't get it.
There's a church called COP.
Yeah, Church of Pentecost.
Yeah, Church of Pentecost.
Yeah, that's how mum said
it.
She was too confused, fam. I was like, what the heck?
But yeah, so the COP26 summit. Yeah. You know, it's great. You know, we've got world leaders and random celebrities all coming to the same place to talk about how we can save the world. Magnificent. If we could trust these incompetent people to actually put things together, but I don't. I don't trust them to be. I don't even, like, most of them can't even decide on things between two countries. How are we supposed to unanimously decide on getting things done? I just don't think anything is gonna, like, well, tangibly come out of this. We're gonna make a lot of promises, and then we're gonna get to the time and be like, oh, I guess it's time for another summit.
No, my dudes.
You know what? If they wanted to be environmentally friendly, they would have done it over Zoom.
This is it.
They would have done it over Zoom. So literally over 100 representatives and their entourage from over basically lots of representatives and entourage from over 100 countries are currently in Glasgow. I saw a video of Biden's envoy. 24 plus motor vehicles are moving on the road to transport this one man. And you're going to open your mouth and tell us to stop using straws, to stop cutting down trees. Huh?
I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous.
How?
It's ridiculous. As in, like, hundreds of private jets. Hundreds of private jets are flying to a climate summit. Like, guys, make it make sense. It doesn't. It really doesn't.
No.
And the thing is, like, these kind of things, they always kind of put in place these, you know, rules and regulations that ultimately affect developing countries more than developed countries, because they've all gone through their industrial revolution, which obviously, you know, puts out a lot of fumes and all of that stuff. Developing countries that are now going through their industrial phase, how are they supposed to limit? And you know what I mean? So ultimately it always affects them most, and no one's trying to send them money. And even if you do send them money, most of them have corrupt governments.
They'll chop
so how do we even know that it's going towards helping them cut, you know, I don't know, oil out of their use of electricity? Like, these are the things we should be talking about. How do we make sure that the money we're giving these countries is actually going towards helping the climate change?
But you can't. Yeah. There's not even a realistic way to monitor that.
Yeah, exactly. So then we're back in.
No realistic way. No. And the reality is, the countries that contribute the most. So I'm looking at China, Russia, Iraq, all of Israel, all of these countries. UK, for how small the UK is. So like, the UK is so tiny. Yeah, it contributes so crazy, like a crazy amount of CO2, right?
Yeah.
All of these countries, they tend to kind of encourage other countries to make changes. Like, if you deep it, like, a lot of what we recycle goes to the bin. I know what the UK does. They put it in containers and they literally ship it elsewhere.
Ship it to other countries. How rude.
They do. Like, you know, when you talk to someone who, I don't know, if he's an economist or something, you're like, why can't we just print out more money? And they're like, that's stupid. And I'm like, we are literally sending our rubbish elsewhere so that we can say that we're dealing with our rubbish. How does that make sense? And there's this kind of like redistribution of garbage that they do just to try and, like, it's greenwashing. It's basically greenwashing. And the countries that actually need to make the most changes are going to be reluctant to do so because their economy relies so heavily on it. And these are usually like big powerhouses. So you cannot tell China, which is basically like the highest and India, like the highest population in the world, oh, stop what you're doing, because people's livelihoods depend on it, their economy depends on it, how they're perceived in the world stage depends on it. Can you imagine telling Putin, you know what, reduce your economy, make less money just so that you can save the world? No.
He'll be like, that ain't none of my business.
They will never ever do that. So what do they turn to? They either turn to the public and tell us to do small things whilst knowing that it's big corporations that they're earning taxes from that's making the most damage, or they're going to tell poorer nations to stop to have less children. That's literally what they say. They were like, oh, if Africa, if South America, if Asia can have less children and invest in better contraception or whatever, there's going to be less people. But it's like, no, you're missing the point here, because this is about sustainability and environmentalism. You need to also think about sustainability. Can this actually like continue? Because it doesn't make sense to make changes to try and quote unquote reduce global warming now, but go back to practices. But actually, where is longevity? Like, have you even calculated for that? Let me stop ranting.
Can I just add one last thing before you
go on? You can add more than one last thing.
So I've been working with some companies like in central London, the Shard, etc. And obviously there's a government target for when they want all these big corporations to reach like carbon zero. So essentially they're even working on something called Plan Zero, where they reach carbon zero by 2025, but there's a government target for 2030, etc. So for these bigger Western powers and the superpowers, etc., it is actually realistic without actually having any downfalls. Because look at like the ULEZ zone, for example. It's not ideal for all the people here, but they're making more money and is better for the environment, you know what I mean? But for smaller countries, like, let me just use Ghana, for example, like, if I'm telling them, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, it's like, it's a long day for them, innit? It's a long day. So I think with the bigger Western countries, there's less implications, but regardless, even any guidelines and stuff they do make in COP26, it ends up being a guideline. Like, it's better than nothing, but it's still nothing. You get what I mean? Yeah.
You know what? I was just to piggyback off that, I was reading about basically the plan to stop deforestation all across the world by 2030. And obviously, when you hear about deforestation, you look over to Brazil because they've got the Amazon rainforest, which some believe is like being destroyed beyond repair. And do you think, if you want to stop that by 2030, what are you putting in place to support the livelihood of the people who basically make their money and feed themselves and their family by cutting down the trees? And you're thinking, well, you can go to all the summits, but if you look at their president, the one that was telling people to go to festivals and carnivals in the middle of COVID, because he was a COVID skeptic, lots of people died unnecessarily because nothing was put in place. Nothing was put in place. And you look at that person, you think, you are not a responsible individual. How can we now basically put into your hands the responsibility of providing social security, social mobility schemes to make sure that people can make a livelihood outside of cutting down trees? That person won't do that. That's unrealistic. They're not all on the same one. And as a Nigerian, I'm looking at Boo Boo, the bad boy. He's not going to do anything. Boo Boo is the nickname for President Buhari. He needs to take several seats. They're not going to do anything. The governments will chop the money.
Yeah, 100%. Even like me and my older brother were talking about this today, how, you know, even during COVID, loads of foreign aid was coming to Africa, especially, well, I can only speak on West Africa. Loads of foreign aid was coming through to the countries. They were even going out and getting loans from World Bank and other countries, and all of that money just disappeared into thin air.
Did
you see that video? They opened like a garage.
A palliative, Is it a palliative? A palliative? It's a huge warehouse. And it was just filled to the brim with like rice, grain, like just food that was meant to be distributed to the locals during COVID.
And it wasn't.
No, they just kept it there.
Yeah, so this is what it is. Like, you just have this kind of corruption in Africa and
everywhere.
Yeah, well, no, I can only speak on Africa, to be honest. Well,
it is everywhere, to be honest.
It is everywhere. Yeah. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about, let's say, developing countries and stuff, like, I just don't know how we can collectively, you know, let's say, stop deforestation. Maybe it's more realistic in South America, but in somewhere like, let's say Ghana is like one of the major exports of the second or largest export of cocoa in the world. And like some people, and they sell timber, like a lot of things get like cut down and stuff because we do have like a rainforesty kind of climate. And it's just like, as you said, people's livelihoods. How can you even guarantee that you know, these people be supported when their leaders are just incompetent. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like
embezzle.
Embezzle. Like even the leader of Ghana, like he during COVID time, he made water free in Ghana, you know, to like help people. And then as soon as that thing was over, he charged extra for water to compensate for all the free water he's given. It's like,
isn't that what the guys? Okay, you know what? To be honest, I know that the Ghanaian government is actually one of the more competent ones all over Africa. So that should tell you what we're facing. But even if you look at someone like Bojo and the different taxes and the different things that they're basically introducing, even if you look at like student finance, I know before like, oh, I can wait till I'm earning 25k to start paying that back. No,
they've changed it. Yeah.
They've changed it now. And when people were swallowing the money from furlough, I'm a bit bitter because I wasn't on furlough, so I had to keep on working. But obviously, I'm grateful to God that I was getting my full wage all throughout lockdown. When they were putting all the support and stuff in place, even like the extra £20 that were given to people on benefits, £20 you're giving to people on benefits. Number one, all of those things have been taken away, and all the money that they gave out to people, they will now have to return it. And all the people that committed fraud during that time, saying you were furlough when you were not, they will collect you too. And so in terms of like the support available, it was only going to be for a short space of time. When we're all chopping food from ETA to help out, where do you think the money will come back? Come from? Legit, it has to come from somewhere. So for me, it's what I want to see is longevity, because the reality is people are seeing the weight of climate change. And although it might not reach certain countries more than others, some parts of the world, if you look like at Bangladesh, I think sometime last year, like a third of the country was underwater. Like those countries are very, very vulnerable to climate change. And the reality is by 2030, if they do actually reach the aim and the Earth's temperature goes down, the damage would have already been done. Countless lives would have been lost. And the reality is the people that are main perpetrators of this, they've just waited to actually make proper decisions, because you can't tell me that recycling plastic will solve everything when you're sending the plastic to Cambodia. No, that's unacceptable. Ridiculous. It doesn't work.
There was even one country prime minister who just sent all the trash back.
Yeah, they said we don't want your garbage.
Yeah, it was like, hey, I don't know what you're doing here, but you can have it back. Yeah. But like, do you think, as you know, stewards of the earth, like Christians should be, do you think we care enough about global warming and climate change and all that stuff?
I do. I don't want to sound self-righteous, yeah, but I will today. I do. Number one, I don't throw away my clothes. My friends will tell you I've got stuff from many, many years ago. Okay, joking aside, I think modern people in general are just more conscious of the environment. So for example, you might find that people are eating less meat because the breeding of animals produces a lot of waste. People are more likely to, when I was growing up, like purchasing something from a charity shop used to be something that I was embarrassed about, because my dad would always get me something from charity shops and I hated it. But now it's like a thing.
Like thrift shop. I got this from the thrift shop. They're like, oh my God, wow.
Yeah, they don't use charity shop anymore. They say thrift shop. And now it's got so big that the stuff in charity shops, it's more expensive than the stuff at Zara. And I was like, but it smells like smoke. Like why is it not £2.50? But yeah, I think people are just more aware, but also I think that means that corporations notice that people are aware. So stuff like greenwashing is a thing. Just because you're making a product see-through doesn't mean that it's better for the environment.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's
the truth. Yeah, because people they've thrown away their plastic containers to buy glass containers, when that's actually worse for the environment, because if you smash glass, it's finished. But if you drop a plastic bowl on the floor, you can still keep on using it, and you use it. You can literally pass it down because it's not going to get destroyed. So I think people are more likely to kind of fall into those traps. But I think people and Christians are just generally more aware. I can't speak for the aunties though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's about, as you said, I feel like our generation are more naturally aware, like just the way that we do things. Oh, instead of throwing something away, I might sell it, I might just recycle it, etc. But I don't know if we can actually say Christians on a whole are more conscious. I don't know if we can say that. What's you guys' opinions about? I don't know if we can actually say that.
Well, you know what? I'll say our African parents are pretty they're pretty aware because they never throw your clothes away. They always send it to Africa.
No, but they need to stop. I actually saw a documentary about clothes being, I think it was in Ghana. There was basically like a lot of charities all over like the US and other parts of the world, and obviously our parents, they will send clothes back basically back home. And you know, they call them, where I'm from, they call them bend and select, because you have to bend down and select the item. And basically like purchase it. But the reality is people don't want to wear your hand-me-downs, like unless you like really, especially back there where like you want to be flashy and new. People don't want to wear your hand-me-downs. So where does it land up? In landfills. And it ruins their environment, because my dad has got clothes from 2006 that he says he will send back to bless somebody. I'm saying that outfit will not bless anybody.
Oh my.
It needs to go in the bin. But yeah,
especially like sending clothes that are like, I don't know, sending fast fashion clothes back to Africa is not it, like, because these things are thin, they can be eaten by moths, they're not durable. Like if you're gonna send, I don't know, a bunch of, let's say, Marks and Spencer's clothes that are still in kind of good shape, then fine. But a lot of these things are like, they've got holes in them by the time they get there. It's not very suitable, you know what I mean? I don't know.
I think they have a different fashion taste anyways. And some of the stuff that, I don't know, let's say like I was wearing an Essentials hoodie. To us, yeah, that's deep, or that's drip, or Essentials, £100. That man is like, that's a normal hoodie, you get what I mean?
Essentials is £100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 105
for cotton.
Big up God though, it's a Christian elements in that, you get me?
No.
Big up God in that.
No.
I support Essentials wholeheartedly.
I
this
want
guy
to
coming like
money.
brand ambassador. Are they paying you?
If you're listening to this,
are you an affiliate? Do we need to know if you're an affiliate with them? ADPR?
No, I hope so one day. Inshallah.
Woo!
One day.
Oh man.
No, but in all honesty, I think for our parents, to be honest, I think a lot of them are just focused on survival to try and think about the environment, because as long as they're concerned, when they throw something in the bin, that's kind of not their problem anymore. That's what your council tax is for. But I think people in general, I think people don't really understand what actually matters in terms of helping the environment. Like they don't really know where to turn to, because they teach in school, reuse, reduce, recycle. And as long as you do that and you don't use plastic straws, you help in the environment, which is actually ableist, by the way. People should be able to use plastic straws if they want to. But in terms of like purchasing fast fashion, that's a reality for a lot of people. They might not have money to spend £50 on a good quality t-shirt or something, but even with the little that you have, even if let's say all your clothes or whatever from fast fashion, you can still take care of them in a way that they will last for a long time. Rather than like getting into that mindset of like, remember when YouTube used to have lots of hauls where people would just go to like, I spent £500 at Zara, this is what I purchased.
Zara haul,
Primark haul. And I was just thinking like, you're gonna return most of these, but what, like, why would you celebrate that lifestyle of just converting lots and lots of material and just things that you don't really need? Like, you shouldn't basically be greedy. And also when it comes to food, because some of you guys don't care. God says stewards the earth, and that includes the things in it. Some of you don't care about animal cruelty, you don't care about anything. And obviously if you can afford to only eat a certain type of way, that's totally fine. But if you do have the means, that you can actually look at more sustainable things like shopping locally. And that can actually make a big difference, not just in your life, but in the life of like small businesses as well, because they really struggle when it comes to sustainability and keeping the price down. But yeah, there's different ways that people, like Christians anyway, can really make a good environmental impact.
Yeah, that's good. That's so good. Oh, well, this was a good segue into our next topic, which was about like learning new skills and stuff. And I was about to say, like you were saying, shop locally. I was gonna say, or make or grow your own produce in
I
if you've
grew
got
tomatoes
like
in
a
the summer.
balcony or if you've got a garden or whatever. Because I have got quite a few friends that do that. They grow their own like chili peppers, and one's growing avocado and all of that stuff. Like it's pretty cool. You don't have to go to avocado is expensive as hell. So if you can grow like an avocado plant, that's a huge W, I can't lie.
Where I live, there's about maybe like 6 or 7 apple trees just randomly. And every year they grow apples and the apple just falls to the ground and then it rots. And like one day, literally because no one picks them, like, and some of the apples are quite large, like Granny Smith apples and the red ones as well. And they just grow like on the pavement, like on the side of the road when they're like in the area I live in. And one day I was like, you know what, let me just pick one. Because I was like, maybe it's like, I don't know, some sort of like, I don't know, pretend apple or something that wasn't legit. And I took it home and I ate it and it was nice. And I thought, look at that.
It's just going to
look at that. There is food that is free. That is free there. And I grew tomatoes in a bucket this summer.
Nice. What cherries?
Were they cherry? No, they were just regular ones. Okay. Yeah, they were slightly bigger than cherry tomatoes. Yeah, and I would have it like with bread and stuff, and it was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not everyday heat out.
You gonna start growing something, Philip?
Nah, because like when you're growing stuff, don't you have to get like fertilizers?
Not necessarily. Depends what you're growing.
Come on, like if we're growing like actual vegetables, I'm not talking about cress that you just put water. If we're growing actual vegetables, you actually have to look after them, sunlight, water. Make sure you get a couple things in there as well, them extra stuff. Now let's add up the costs and that. I could have just went to East Street Market, Peckham. You get what I'm saying? Why am I waiting months for something that I can get like this? So
I can't lie. For the tomatoes that I ate, the price wasn't making sense.
See? Exactly. But obviously, if you've got like a big field or something, like you have some huge garden somehow, do your thing. But I'm talking about some of us have balconies out here, you get me? So
that is so funny.
You can actually grow like I don't know why we're in the topic of like growing plants, but you can actually grow like really hardy plants that don't need like lots of maintenance.
Yeah, like
things like stuff potatoes. Like courgettes, potatoes, courgettes, tomatoes. If you just kind of leave them to do their thing, they'll grow. Really? Oh yeah, you can actually grow onions.
They even grow in your, you know, when you leave your onions for too long, they even start growing in your cupboard.
Yeah.
How long though? These are all very long-term projects, guys.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
you're so used to going to supermarket.
It's a long-term
if you have the luxury, do your thing, innit?
It's a long-term thing because over time, let's say you have something like an apple tree. Over time, like the apple tree kind of sustains itself.
That's a
because
whole tree.
the apple,
that's
like
a whole tree. Who has that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyway, stop. But yeah, we were talking about skills. So yeah, the other topic was just talking about skills, like learning skills, new skills as an adult, and what that teaches us about, like, I don't know, discipline and perseverance and stuff like that, you know, trying to upgrade yourself whilst adulting. Like, the struggles are real, but then also, like, how does that translate into our faith? Like, does the discipline you build there help you with your faith, or does the discipline you build in your faith help you with your skills, or vice versa, or whatever? So we're just going to discuss that. But so yeah, first I want to ask you guys, what are any new things that you guys are currently learning?
ARAMIDE gonna go first.
No, I want you.
Right, cool. Currently
I wanted you to go first.
Yeah.
Currently learning. I'm trying to learn bass properly. I can play, but I can't play. Like, I want to be cute with it. You get me? So I learn it properly. I'm trying to learn saxophone. Trying to learn some other softwares too. Trying to learn French. Just loads of random stuff. I'm someone that I don't really like to sit around. If I learn something, I'm gonna learn the next thing. If I learn something, I'm gonna get better. You know what I mean? So that's just how I am.
Mm-hmm.
He's next.
When you said bass, I looked at my guitar that's gathering dust.
Yeah, I was looking at it, you know. I was just looking at it. I was gonna ask you to play something like
I would no. This
Do you
call
like,
will end immediately.
Uncle?
No, I can't. Number one, I can't sing, and number two, I can't play.
Everyone can just do that second nature.
That already sounds better than what I can do. My friends consistently tell me, just you do that's not your ministry. It's not good to do. Yeah, I know.
I say get new friends.
Honestly, they listen to this. I'll cancel you. No, I couldn't get past the finger pain, and I know this you should persevere. I know over time your fingers will thicken, but I don't think that's what I want. I don't want my fingertips to scrub pans. I want to keep them nice and soft. But yeah, I'll pick it up at some point. But the things I have learned, I learned how to knit. During lockdown, I made a hat on another project that I've kind of abandoned for like 9 months, but I'll pick up at some point. I'm currently learning salsa dancing. Some Christians might say some Christians might say that one is a bit close contact, but we can leave that for another day. And lastly, a bit of sound editing. I enjoy listening to podcasts, and I thought, let me try my hand at a little bit, very rudimentary sound editing.
That's dope.
That's me. What about you, Anna?
I'm currently I'm currently learning French.
Oui.
And I'm trying.
She looks so happy with herself. Oh my gosh.
J'ai parlé le français.
Just a little bit. But yeah, French. Oh, I'm trying my hand at Japanese a little bit. I'm getting there-ish. Yeah. So yeah, languages. Then same as you. So I picked up salsa in the beginning of the pandemic. So that would have been 2020. So I had a friend, who did salsa at the same place that you go actually, and he used to sometimes teach. So he taught me and my friend
via Zoom.
The pandemic. No, he lived next door.
Oh, okay.
Are you guys wearing masks?
I was gonna say, are you gonna?
We did it in Platforms Park.
Okay.
So you weren't maintaining social distance? Is that what you're saying, Anna?
We were in the same bubble.
The actions of Anna does not reflect what we believe here at the Second Nature podcast. Let's make that clear.
We were in the same bubble.
Of course,
yeah.
no doubt.
It was basically our housemate.
Yeah. It's okay. You answer.
That's so funny. But yeah, so I picked up salsa. I feel like I got pretty good at it. I need to resume whatever salsa, so I'll do that. What else? Those are the main ones. I picked up a bit of coding, but I've kind of like left that for now, kind of ish.
You did a lot though.
Yeah,
come on.
Jeez. I really want to learn an instrument again, but do you know what it's about?
Don't pick up the guitar. Don't pick up the guitar.
Guitar is not that hard, guys.
Yes, it's not that hard.
But that's why
I'm struggling.
Am I making too much noise? So I used to play saxophone, and the worst bit about saxophone is practicing at home, because it's so loud and you can't mute it. Not really, unless you get this massive contraption that's basically like a soundproof box that you put your saxophone around and you put your hands inside it. It's very weird and heavy.
I didn't know that existed. They're doing promo for them.
I think I knew a girl at uni that had, what's that? It's like, it looks like a guitar. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like massive. Like it's like person height.
Double bass.
Or double bass.
I think it was a double bass. Yeah. But it was massive. Like you needed like two people to kind of carry it on a stairwell.
Yeah.
And she went to, she played in like the local orchestra. But it was like rehearsal, like she'd have to take it all the way down the stairs. It was massive. And she was like, I can't travel with it. I had to put it in a van. And I'm like,
it's bare hustle moving double basses,
No, it's not necessary.
I saw as hell. And they're expensive. They're a couple K.
I can't lie, I got this for free. So glory to God. Honestly, I have destiny helpers around me. Are any of you guys still continuing with the things that you picked up during lockdown?
Well, yeah, I want to resume salsa, but and French. I have been actually. I started like getting really into French where on Clubhouse there was like a club that every weekday they did like things at I think 8 p.m. every day, so you could like join in, and they had like this, they were so organized. They had this like Google Doc, and every day like they'll go through different pages and it had readings in it, and it had exercises and everything, and this was over Clubhouse. And then they'll be like, Anna, do you want to read the next paragraph? And I had to unmute myself and read the next paragraph in French. Anyway, but yeah, so that really.
And yet, people were in other rooms arguing about body counts and arguing about hairdressers and who's stolen money from them. God,
yeah. So
I can't lie, I was in those rooms.
so yeah, that helped a lot actually. Like, build some enthusiasm and help, because a lot of them were like proper French speakers. So if you said something wrong, they'll be like, "Oh, like." Debo, like, how do you say this? Da, 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 da. And like, there was a lot of like, oh, when it's got an X at the end, you say it this way. When it's like that, you say it that way. Yeah, so it's really helpful. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What about you, Philip? Bass?
Yeah, I've got a bass gig next week even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, starts to be cute.
Make some money, why don't you?
And literally when you said that and I heard gig, all I thought was money. It was the cash.
Yeah, I think I need to take sax more seriously, but as you said, that you actually can't practice tightly, so you got a time bound. But yeah, it's what it is. Like, if I could play sax, that would be so rich. Like,
you've been invited to so many Nigerian parties, like Nigerian
weddings. I want to do like the weddings and stuff.
Yeah, so people can shower.
You know when they start putting the money in you like this?
I know,
I used to put it in this hand, I top like this.
No, that's you have an assistant who's gonna put it in bin bags.
Yeah, you have.
That's how much you get.
Like, your PA following you and collecting the
that's the next move. That's the next move, guys.
And I'm sure you're gonna tie the certain amount of that money to the church, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Cancel this man. Cancel him.
ARAMIDE, are we gonna see a salsa performance soon?
Absolutely not. I like rhythm. I like rhythm. I really like rhythm. I thought because I was Black, it would come with me naturally. It skipped me so hard. And also some of the people there, like you get many different characters at the salsa classes. You have the people that are a bit too involved, like they just keep swinging your arms left and right, and you're just trying to keep the counts like in your head, like 1, 2, 3 step, and they're like swinging your arms around, and it's distracting. You have some people who like you don't even look at you, like they just look at the top of your head when you're dancing. And a few times, some people have turned up to the class, like the one I used to go to, like a bit drunk. And it's just being like, just really uncomfortable, just like being near them and just breathing the same air and just being near them, just because it's kind of like, I can tell you're really drunk. But I think it's been fun. It's been like a good way to get out of the house and just like meet people, because sometimes we can get stuck in like just seeing the same people every week, which is nice, but it's like just meet new faces and like just have new conversations. It's really refreshing. Yeah, it is.
Wow. So yeah, I think my next question was like, how much like time and effort you guys dedicate into learning your new skills? Oh, and money. And like how you fitting it around your adult schedules.
Yeah, this is my thing. Since I finished uni and I've been doing like some stuff like in the 9 to 5 time, yeah, you lot don't get no time. Like
no?
you adults, I don't really identify as that currently, but you older people, like you actually don't get any time. So let's say like you have this hobby or this skill you want to learn.
Question mark?
Sorry, what you're saying is not encouraging me. It's not encouraging me at all.
Or you guys' ages.
You don't need to say older people, just say
that's fine.
people.
You guys are like pre-marriage.
What does that mean? That's not an age. That's not like you have
You guys gotta get
teenager
married, like, next
and you
week.
have elderly. I'm sorry, there's no age range for pre-married. What does that mean?
Okay, guys. Let's just say 25 plus.
I'm not 25 plus.
Yet.
Wow.
I'm not the plus. Okay.
Oh my God.
I don't count the months. I don't count the weeks. I just count the years.
Okay. It's about what you identify as, anyways. That let's talk about acceptance, all of that.
Identify
what was I trying to
as
say
a
again?
child
What's my
plus.
point?
You're saying,
there's barely any time. So if you're doing something that's like physically demanding or like requires setup or whatever, that's already going to take away loads of your time. So let's say I don't know, you get home at 6 o'clock and you want to, I don't know, practice guitar like for an hour. After you eat and all of that and you have work tomorrow, it's looking a little bit long. You get me? So I think it's difficult. But I think, especially when it's like a hobby, there isn't really like, oh, I need to do this. You don't. You actually don't. So you can just go on ahead of your day. But I think I've been keeping up with it. But I feel like, not that I feel like I have to, but I kind of do. Because I have goals, I have targets, etc. But I think with some hobbies, like it's good to have hobbies that you don't have anything attached to it. There's no like, oh, if I don't do it, or if I'm not good enough, blah, blah, blah. It's good to have hobbies like that as well. So I think, yeah, I've been doing mine, but I doubt everyone else has. Some people have, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you trying to say something?
I'm not shading you guys. I'm just saying from my expectations.
Because where are you with French?
With French, let's do a French conversation.
No,
Hola.
we will
Hola.
not. Hola? Ah.
Yeah. I'm testing you guys. I'm testing
Hola?
you.
It is okay. I did not hear the H in front of that. Hola. I will say that as someone who's been, I guess, like grown up for a while, it's just really hard to find time to do the things that are important, like outside of like work and like church. Because I know, so for instance, at my previous job before I left, I worked at another university. I was like, let me just sign up to some courses before I leave, because it's free. I can study for free there. So now that the course has started, ask me how many times I've opened my books, because like it's hard to just factor in time to do things outside of work. And outside of work, I'm always conscious of like, I want to do something that's fun, that's refreshing, that's just energizes me rather than takes away from me. But actually finding the time to do it out of 24/7 is really, really, really difficult. And so it's kind of like, I need to take a break from this, even though, yeah, I just need to take a break from this. Like when I was going to London, I was saying to my friend, I was super tired, but I was like, regardless of how tired I am, I'm going to have fun. Like I will force myself to have fun, because I don't know when I'm going to do something next that's going to be fun, because it's usually, work, church, all of these things, more work to be done. If you want to set up a side hustle or just do something to like, learn more, be more learned, or to acquire new qualifications, for example, it's not necessarily fun, but it's something that you do because you know that it will benefit you in the future. But in terms of things that don't deplete you, the things that energizes you, you really have to like really force and make time. And it just gets more difficult the older you get. Yeah,
that's really true. I'll say, well, like with languages, because like it's so full on. When you leave it for a while, you regress. So you have to be on point with it. So I think that's kind of been my motivation, because I'm just like, if I don't keep up with it, all my hard work goes to waste and I have to do it again. So like one thing I kind of integrate into my schedule. So let's say after work or after uni, whatever, I'll just, if I'm watching TV, I'll watch something in a different language with subtitles, whatever, or I'll listen on a commute, I'll listen to a French podcast or whatever. So it's like, or I'll try in the morning, if I'll do some reading whilst I'm having my breakfast or whatever. So kind of integrate it into my schedule. So it's not so much obviously sometimes you do have to like put time aside to like learn this kind of like grammar rules or certain words or whatever, like because you have to actually learn those things. But with things where it's just more practice and immersing yourself in the language, you can integrate that into your schedule and stuff like that. And with regards to like practice, with practice it's just discipline, honestly. It really is, because there's we have a friend called Paul and Sam and Rashmi. They will live together, and next door there's a guy that plays saxophone there, and literally if you're there in the house, like this guy, well, I think he's a full-time musician because he spends a lot of hours of the day practicing. You think he's done, and then like 30 minutes later you're hearing again, like you're like, rah, this guy's been going for 3 hours. But yeah, like that, even though it doesn't like feel like it takes a lot of like determination and discipline. So I think, yeah, with regards to like something like learning a new instrument or something that requires muscle memory, such as like salsa or something physical like a sport, you have to dedicate time to it. You have to set time aside. You have to wake up earlier or go to sleep later or whatever. Like you actually have to set time aside for it, otherwise you can never kind of really fully gain that skill. But like once you've put in the initial time, the rest just kind of falls into place. Yeah, because like if you start practicing, let's say bass for every day for, let's say, I don't know, 3 months, by the end of 3 months, like you're playing, it's not arduous practice, it's just, oh, you're playing a song you like.
Yeah, and then learning the harder stuff is more enjoyable. Like you can actually learn the crazy stuff. So
yeah, that's like,
oh, now I feel inspired to pick up my guitar.
Go on, you do it. I believe in you. But yeah, and I think with like things like instruments and stuff, or like salsa, it's really hard. I mean, it can be done, but it's so hard to learn by yourself. I would recommend people to get teachers, like get someone to teach you, because they'll be on your case. That's accountability. If you really want to learn something, accountability, because your teacher's gonna be messaging you like, have you practiced today? Oh, I hope you've been practicing your scales for our next lesson. And you're like, yeah, sure. So like with that,
that's true.
Especially in the beginning, I would say like it'll be helpful to maybe get a teacher just to like ease you in or help you like gain for maybe a couple months. I know some people can't afford like 4 years worth of lessons, but in the beginning it really, really helps, because when you're practicing by yourself, you kind of know what to do. You've got the basics all sorted, so like you can kind of do the self-study, I'd say, much easier.
No, I definitely agree. And just letting like your friends know as well, like the new things that you're doing, just so someone can be like, oh, how's it going? Yeah. And stuff like that. And it can serve as a reminder as well, in case you like fall behind or you get demotivated, which is what happened in my case. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. And it can be really fun as well. Like I remember like, you know, when you like see people like playing the instrument or just doing something that they're really talented at, and you're like, wow, look how amazing they are. But they all started one day, like no one was an expert, and yeah, it's really inspiring. So yeah, if you need something to encourage you to pick up that skill that you've always wanted to do, or that you started but stop, you know, it's never too late to really just pick it up again and become really good at it.
Yeah. Do you think like the discipline that you have like in your faith, like to, I don't know, wake up and do morning devotion, or to always be at Friday service at church or whatever, helps you to learn other skills, or learning skills and like, you know, practicing, you know, for an hour a day helps you with your like faith side of things as well, or vice versa, whatever?
I think 100%. I think it's a feedback loop. Like literally, it's about being able to build habits in general, just being able to, I want to do this, I'm going to do it. I've set the time aside to do this, I'm going to do it. Because remember, growing up, I was going to training at 6 o'clock, leaving home at 6 o'clock every day from year 7 to year 13. And there's little things like that, just my attitude towards things. I just know like, if I put enough time towards this, I can do it. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just, I think it just helps to just be able to just be strict with yourself. And discipline is like very important. Like, look at the Bible, discipline is important, like, because it's literally how you get stuff done. Like being inconsistent doesn't help anything, and that's one of the things that in the characters in the Bible, like, it's something that doesn't really bang that. So I think definitely for me, it helped both ways. Like it went both ways.
If you guys weren't following, that was the ghetto message Bible translation.
Oh,
That is so rude. That is so rude.
no way.
I won't have that for
way.
you. What?
Oh,
the ghetto?
we're from Pepper, everyone, so this is how we talk. I don't know how Anna's, so this was the ghetto.
TGT, come on. TGT.
Oh, that's
no,
funny.
Definitely. I think discipline helps because the Paul, not the Paul, in the Bible it talks about like in terms of like master, like being a master of your flesh, and like essentially beating it into submission and you being able to choose what is good and what is godly, consistently, despite what your flesh is wanting you to do. And so if you know that there's something that's good for you, it's really important that first of all you actually cultivate like consistency with God. Because if you, I don't know, if you play football on the weekend and you're there every single Saturday and Sunday, but you open your Bible only during crossover service, you need to also kind of have a think. No, it's the truth.
No, it's
sometimes
big facts.
Sometimes we only open our Bibles or we pray or we just commune in fellowship when something big is coming up, or when we're like, oh God, I want a new job, or God, I want something. And that's kind of when we build up that devotion, but then stop when we've got it. But actually we can, we should first build that discipline with God and keep on going, even if we fall, even if we take a break, and we like just keep it going, even if you come through, like even if you have issues staying consistent. Like I've been inconsistent with some aspects of my faith, and one of my friends called me, she really charged me up. She was like, you know what, God is the most important one, like he's the most important person in your life, and definitely cultivate that first, because everything else comes after. It's not the other way around. Like seek first his kingdom, like the kingdom of God, and everything else will follow. Not follow everything else and then whatever residual discipline you have left over, you now scrape it together. You're like, oh, this is my best.
This is for you, God.
Yeah.
And it's dripping out.
Hello, God, take this, Heavenly Sky Daddy, just take this. No, it should be the other way around.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with both of you. As Philip said, it's a feedback loop. So if you dedicate time to God and put time aside to cultivating your relationship with God, you find that you grow in discipline and perseverance, so much so that it affects all the other things that you're picking up / learning, because you've kind of, as you said, like your body does what you want it to do. You're like, oh, today I want to do an hour of, let's say, key or piano practice. Your body's that you're like, yeah, I can do that, because you've built that discipline where when you think or put time aside for something, you do it. You've got the motivation and the dedication there to do it. Like that discipline is built into your system now.
Yeah.
Like it's there. So I think, yeah, and obviously moving first with the word of God to build that discipline, it really helps, because as you said, you're starting first from Christ and letting that filter down to everything else, and trying to build discipline by learning the skill and then trying to translate that to your walk with Christ. It's much easier the other way around, and then they just kind of become that symbiotic relationship where they're just feeding each other and being a nice little loop and stuff. So yeah, I would definitely say that like doing stuff with church and like my morning devotion and all that kind of stuff has really helped me like organize my day and set aside for, I don't know, learning French, or set aside for, let's say, learning Japanese, or picking up something new and everything like that, because my day just kind of filters off that. So yeah, I think it's like super important. But yeah, it definitely has been challenging. Like I would actually implore people to pick up skills. Like even though we don't absorb things, it's not as easy to learn things as when you're a kid. Like you're literally a sponge when you're a kid. It's like it's so mentally stimulating, and it helps release stresses and endorphins. Like it helps you do something with yourself and not fall into, let's say, the like depression and anxiety, and you're most of the time you're getting out of your house, you're going to play gigs, or you're going to do a lesson somewhere or whatever. So you're meeting people and you're interacting with people, and it helps, you know, it helps build us as interactive, you know, beings, not this metaverse nonsense.
Leave the metaverse. I'm sure there'll probably be people like who probably find a way to do like, I don't know, music classes via the metaverse.
Yeah, so have you seen that 5G thing? Like that 5G, was it Virgin Media advert where like someone was playing keys somewhere else, and like there was a robot playing the same keys real time, like somewhere else in a whole different country through 5G, because 5G is like so fast, it's almost real time.
What the heck?
So weird.
Sorry, is it 4G that we have now, or do we have 5G already?
It's 5G now.
Well, all I know is that it doesn't work. Okay, so many people on it doesn't work. All I know is sometimes I have to default to like phone, literally use 3G, like just use the bare minimum, just to Google something. I mean, the reality is, I'm sure when there was changes in the way the internet runs, and even when the internet was invented, I'm sure there were people that were opposed to it and said, no, this will ruin us all. They were right. Same way, I'm sure that when this kicks off, we'll all be on it. Oh my gosh, imagine doing like a live recording of the podcast in a virtual room with all the people listening.
That'd be crazy as hell.
And then we'll have to eat our words to say, oh hell, Mark Zuckerberg. That sounds
I would have to, oh hell, like bleeping.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure we'll all probably jump on it, and yeah, you probably go to gigs now online.
It can be useful in a sense where, let's say there's, you know, this conference going on in LA, like no one's paying £500 plus transport plus hotels plus food plus beverages, visa to get there. So I don't mind doing a virtual thing, but it's more or less Zoom anyway. But
can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go on.
So as we've been talking about skills and stuff, etc., and obviously all of us have been trying out new stuff, etc., what advice would you give to someone that genuinely finds it hard? Because I know a lot of people, like, it just doesn't make to them, like it'll be nice, like, oh, I want to try this one, I want to try this, but they just never get to like starting. And even when they do start, it's just one day, then they never get back to it. What kind of advice would you give to them? Especially like coming from a Christian perspective, like we shouldn't be idle, like whatever we do, we should do it as if we're working for the Lord. Hands are made for working, you get what I mean? So what advice would you give to someone?
Well, I'll definitely say just start, first of all. I think obviously a lot of people have the first time anxiety, like, oh gosh, like especially if you're going to like a class, like the first time you enter a class, so you're just like, I don't know if I want to do it. But like first thing I'll say is just start, just like get over that first time anxiety. I'm sure you probably had a little bit of that ARAMIDE for your first salsa class.
I absolutely did.
Yeah, exactly. So we all have it. Same as me. My first salsa class, I was like, oh no. But it was so much fun. It was just like, why was I even worried in the first place? So yeah, I think first of all, just start. And I think second of all, like, don't just say it. I think a lot of people are like, oh, it would be nice if I could. Then just like start researching about it and see what you can do.
But I know people that will research, they've written it down, they've got the equipment, everything, but to go, different story. I think the only advice I can give to that is, oh, maybe get a friend and stuff. But what if you don't have that friend?
You know what? This is so funny because I'm actually in that phase about something that I researched it for ages. I made a plan. I had Excel spreadsheets. I had links to supplies. I had everything ready. And then to launch, I've not done it. And I did the prep work, guess what, in January. January of this year. Logo done, everything done, and I've sat here folded hands saying, God, leave me. But the reality is, I think a lot of it is to do with fear. Now, it doesn't have to be like fear in the way that we see it, whether it's fear of like starting something and knowing that deep down you might fail and like not continue it. Because I know a lot of people get ashamed of something. If someone's like, oh, I know you started, you know, this 2 months ago, how is it going? People might feel that fear. Also, let's not get it twisted. People are tired. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you don't want to devote your time to something. Literally, sometimes you just want to come home and sleep. But I think we just need to normalize it being okay to take breaks. It being okay to be like, I love this thing, but if I need to take a break, I'll take a break. But I think what really, really helps to just keep you motivated is having something that excites you about whatever it is that you're doing. So for example, if it is that you want to, I don't know, you want to learn how to sew so you can make a dress, and you make that dress and you don't feel motivated to make more dresses, the reality is maybe because you've made your aim, things are now fine. Like I'm very much like that, in the sense of like, if I start something and I meet whatever aim I'm trying to get, once I'm done, I can't lie to you, I'm no longer motivated to do it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because I wanted to acquire that skill and I've acquired it, and now I'm
to
fine.
the level you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you just need to analyze why you're doing something. If you have a let's say one goal, or you want to expand it for it to be something bigger, you know, and then you know where you sit. Because if you start something and you finish it, you stop it, you don't have to feel bad about that. But of course, if you want to go somewhere with it, you know, think about what that goal is. Speak to your friends to say, can you keep, not okay, if you don't have friends, that's a bit difficult. Actively plug yourself into a community where people can actually check in on you. Like checking on you, even if, let's say, I don't know, there's a Facebook group. There's Facebook groups on everything.
Facebook groups for literally everything.
Literally, I mean, one about candle making. Tell me the last time I made a candle. My wax is sitting there. But you see people, like, even if you don't post, you see people actively doing things,
and it kind of
really
you're kind of like, damn, I should get started, because you're seeing people doing it all the time from your notifications. So yeah,
obviously, if you're the type of person where you get jealous when you see other people winning, you do need to take that to prayer, because sometimes if you no, I'm not even saying that to be shady. Like, sometimes you see people winning, you're like, oh, if only I didn't give up, you know, if only I stuck with it, I'd be here. But you definitely need to take that to prayer, because that's more of a heart issue. But like, when you see other people prosper, you're like, wow, let me get back into it, just so that I can also have like something that I want to make, so I can showcase to others and encourage others as well. I think a lot of it just requires you being honest with yourself, open about your intentions, and really plugging yourself into a community.
Yeah, 100%. And I think one thing I'll add is that some of the things that you want to gain a skill in, it might just not be for you, and that's kind of why you haven't started it. And it's just that's okay.
Can I rebut that? How can you say something's not for you if you haven't tried it?
No, okay.
If you try it and maybe like it's not really cool, but if you haven't tried it at all, you can't say it's not for you.
No, but I'm just saying it's not for you. Like, say something like learning an instrument, the amount of hours that goes into it, if you haven't found the motivation to like start, even though you've, you know, researched,
or the type of instrument that you've even picked, because you can be here with a violin, but you may be better suited for like a keyboard, if that makes sense.
So I think even beyond research, and you've got all the learning resources and everything, it's if you're not even motivated enough to start, or you're not confident enough to start, because in the beginning you're going to sound crap. So if you don't
excited enough to start,
or excited enough to start, then I just don't know if it's for you, because something like an instrument, so much dedication and hours before you even start to like what you're playing. You know what I mean? So you need that confidence to overcome the bad, especially something like violin is very technical. So for the first couple of months, you're going to sound really crap. But then once you pass that, that's when you start to sound like quite good. So something like that, or wind instruments, because your breathing is completely different to how like you normally breathe. Thinking about breathing is completely different to just breathing in your day-to-day life. I know that sounds
people
weird,
that play trumpets, like they actually have big lungs, but obviously if, let's say, you're starting, you might find it really, really difficult at the start.
Exactly.
But I think if you're, even before starting, if you've got everything and now you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, or maybe you've done so much research that you've mentally exhausted yourself, like you've thought about it so much. Oh, this is me on my guitar again. You thought about it so much. Like, there was one particular song that I was like, I just want to learn so I can play this song. That's all I want to do. And then I was starting, and I was now having to learn one chord, another chord, and then I was now strumming all the keys in the wrong order. And I was like, God, I will never be able to play the song. And I did so much research and I watched so many videos that now I was like, oh, now my fingers are hurting. Like, this song is not even that nice anymore. Like, it was in 2019. I don't want to do it anymore. we just need to find like other things that excite you. But honestly, it's okay to start something. It's also okay to realize that thing is maybe not for you once you started. But honestly, if you start something, unless it's something dangerous, like you won't actually die. Like if you do it, it's okay.
We're not giving you a license to give up. Keep persevering.
Yeah, persevere.
Yeah,
that's a Christian thing. Persevere.
And yeah, exactly. You know, it's a fruit of the spirit, kind of. Yes. What's it? Yeah, I was also gonna say again, with the whole thing, sometimes you just need to get a teacher or someone who does it as well. And as ARAMIDE said, sometimes it can also be online communities, Reddit, Discord, Facebook groups. These like are the main three things, places that you can find like communities. All you need to do is literally go to the community and be like, hi guys, I'm starting I please recommend resources, or someone, like if anyone's willing to, I don't know, do a video call with me, or these people, yeah, I don't know what they do with their time, but most of them are so willing to give you free resources, things that they've paid for, they'll give it to you for free. Yeah. They're willing to give their time to you for free because they're so passionate about this thing that they're just willing to give so much. So really find these like communities, because strangers can be so nice, especially on these communities like Reddit and Discord. They're so like tight-knit communities that they just love like exchanging and building rapport with online people. So these kind of places are so good to get hype about certain things, because every day they're like, guys, I and I found this and I thought I'd share it here with you guys. What do you guys think? And you're just like, oh yeah, yeah. And you can also like another avenue to make friends as well. So I'd say definitely like join some online groups and communities and drop a message in there. Just don't just be an onlooker. Drop a message and be like, this is where I'm here, I'm up to here. What would you guys recommend for me? Like, how should I start out? Whatever. Then they can help direct you.
And when the metaverse fully comes out,
you just need to jump in there.
Honestly, I am sweet.
Yeah. Oh man. What about you, Philip? What would you say?
What would I say? Those answers are really good because I never looked at it like that. But I'd say definitely the online communities, stuff like that, because I think it takes away a lot of the anxiety out of it and like the judging and stuff, especially like Reddit. You don't even see people with their names as their name. Their names are just random things. So like you're not really identified as yourself, so you can just be free and be expressive. And I say another thing for people, like if you can't try something because like you're scared of something, try something else rather than not trying anything at all. And now you're just here. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with being just there. But now everyone else has got different skills and stuff, and you are still like, oh, I was going to try that. And obviously now someone else has done it and is in front of you. It's long pieces of it because like, this person's so much better than me. And I was going to start at the same time as them. And it's hard. Sometimes it can be hard to look at someone who comes from where you come from, started when you were meant to start, and they're here.
That's literally like every man and football. If only I went to that trial when I was 16, I'd be playing for Man U right now.
I just broke my knee at the wrong time.
Yeah, everyone has had a broken shin. Yeah, everyone has had a broken shin, and that's why they're not playing with, I don't know, Ronaldo and Messi.
Exactly. So I think just need to take away all the pride and everything from it and just enjoy yourself, because a lot of the time, especially when we walk into rooms and stuff and we feel like people are looking at us, you know, like when you walk into like a new church and everyone turns around like this. Like, obviously they're looking at you, but it's not that deep. Yeah. It's actually not that deep.
It's like, but obviously, it is cool.
Exactly. In the moment, it's like, oh my God.
Look at them back, look at them back, and that would be like, I can see you too.
Yeah. Oh my day. And I think it's just being willing to step out, because if you haven't been given the spirit of fear, like just step out and try it. Like try, and that's it. Like if you don't like it, cool. Innit?
Yeah, lose your pride as well, man. You see, all these things that are obstacles to you picking up a new skill is actually just biblical stuff. Fear, pride, like perseverance, diligence, like
long suffering, especially because the amount of late nights I did to learn this instrument, bro.
Self-control, it's all there.
We'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually.
But yeah, man. Good episode, guys.
This is really fun. Yeah,
man.
I love it.
All right. So, does anyone have any closing remarks on climate change skills and the metaverse.
And what's that thing they say? Reuse, reduce, recycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Do that, man. Do that. And don't throw stuff in the bin, man. Don't throw stuff in the bin. Depop, bro. Depop, eBay, recycle. Just give it to someone.
Like if you have good clothes, don't dash it. Donate it or sell it. I know selling can be long for you guys sometimes, but there's a lot of charity shops that actually come pick up stuff from your house.
Or just free cycle
for
or
free.
something.
And check that the charity shop won't just send it to another country and put it in their landfill. What I'll say is I don't want to I don't want to get sued by, is it Nike for their slogan?
Well,
but honestly, do
just
it.
Beep beep.
Yeah, just no, ignore the just. Do it. And as a vegan, I have to advocate for eating less meats, looking for better. They're not the best, but just less environmentally impact kinds of foods. If all you can do is drink oat milk, that makes a difference. It's a change. Or just shopping locally, that's also a change as well. Just don't buy stuff you don't need. Just put down the bank card. Okay, don't flip it over to see the 3-digit code at the back. Just put it down. Okay, put it down. Do that, please. And yeah, try new things. What's the worst that's gonna happen? You lose a bit of money.
Don't buy crypto. It's not environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
No comment.
I can tell that he already has crypto. Dogecoin, Bitcoin.
I'm so happy this is the end of the episode.
After this episode, he's gonna check the stocks just to make sure that they're all still there.
Oh, absolutely.
NFTs are not environmentally friendly, guys.
At all, but that besides the point.
I'm guessing you don't have NFTs yet.
Nah.
That's why.
I like how you yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I can tell right after this he's gonna go and
he's like,
but yeah, just be more conscious of the environment that you live in, because you want to leave something nice for your children, your grandchildren, and if you don't intend to have children, for someone else's kids, just leave something for the next
love
humans.
Thy neighbor.
Yeah,
counts to neighbors that don't exist yet.
Exactly.
All right, that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, Philip, do you want to give them your? Actually, I'd rather not, but
oh my god,
do you want to give them your?
This is not how we treat
people to
guests
listen to my
here.
songs and stuff.
Oh no, okay, no, people can listen to your songs. Go ahead, plug your
Oh
stuff.
my gosh, my
like
Instagram
I said, her views don't match.
Yeah, my Instagram is at it's Vivace, so that's ITSVIVACE. Then Twitter is at Vivace London, VIVACE LDN. That's it.
Cool.
So where do you live again?
Where do I live currently?
Just say London, man.
Oh, LDN.
London.
You missed the joke. You went over your head. Oh.
What's the joke?
Oh my God.
You said Vivace LDN.
Good one.
You so there sometimes.
Good
Okay,
one,
cool.
Good one. You're funny, you know.
I know.
All right, so yeah, we'll tag him as well. And wait, do you have a YouTube?
No, not yet. Christmas,
okay.
December next month. Look out for it.
Go.
Come
Look out for
on.
his YouTube at Christmas time. That's your Christmas present. All I want for Christmas is Vivace's YouTube.
Amen.
Amen.
So yeah, we're gonna follow us at
Say God. Loosen this woman.
Why is English so hard? Gosh, man. Okay, follow us at Second Nature Pod. Follow us on Spotify or Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever. And subscribe to get updates so you can listen to podcasts as soon as it comes out, Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Follow New Nature on Instagram. Philip has a thing called Show Your Hoodie.
Oh, equivalent. Vision Clothing.
Called Vision. So follow at Vision Clothing. And
subscribe to our YouTube.
Subscribe to our YouTube and press the
and
bell.
put the bell on, and on Twitter as well, and on Instagram. Put the bell on.
Put the bells
please.
on. Get notified for when we post things and when we tweet. And yeah, we love reading your comments underneath our YouTube videos. Some of them are out of pocket as hell. What the hell?
I can't lie, our SCJ episode is still doing bits.
Yeah,
so...
we're still getting the wildest comments underneath that video.
Blocker.
But yeah, we might have to do part 2 just to shake the tables.
So the one is a fun way to live.
But yeah,
fine.
So yeah, we're signing out now. So I'll start. Wait, I hope you know this, Philip, because if you don't, I don't know for you.
Unless you knew.
Yeah.
You're forgiven.
So with that, I'm gonna say peace,
love,
and I can't remember, guys. Come on.
Just pick
something.
a word.
Yeah.
Just pick one.
A word. Oh,
Yeah.
Can I start again? Peace.
No,
love.
I start.
Oh God.
I'll
do that again. So with that, we say peace,
love,
vibes.
All right.
okay.
That's
And
different.
And all them things. There.
Yeah.
Peace out, guys.
Bye.